Hello, welcome to Zeteo'sSpeedCasting, the program where we take high-level replays and cast them at 1.5 times speed. Today we're taking a look at LordVedor, and we got Sashkorin versus each other. These players are very, very strong players. 60 OS for Sashkorin, 50 OS for LordVedor. Let's jump into it.
Game started.
Alright, so we got Sashkorin spawned as our blue Armada player at the bottom right hand position, and we got LordVedor spawned as our red Cortex player at the bottom right hand position. This is Gasbag Garbens. This is a map by Aiden Knotts. His second map, his first one being the what's it called, Eclipsed, the remake of StarCraft 1 map. But yeah, I like this map a lot more than Eclipsed. I think it's really well made. And just the fact that it's like pretty much a bot map because you got all these hills and whatnot. You got reasonable energy income, but then at the same time, you got these bigger mexes, these 2.1, some of them are 2.3s. But you got these clusters of 4 mexes and it's all pretty close together. So you've got this mix of like, yeah, vehicles are kind of a nice thing to have, but the terrain doesn't really, you know, make it easy to go vehicles. So you definitely typically open bots here and maybe transition into vehicles later on. But yeah, LordVedor here with the Cortex bots here, going to be producing some grunts and some cons here probably soon as well. Meanwhile, it looks like Sashkorin has decided to open up with the res bots here. So building some solars. Solar can be a thing to do on this map. Winds can get kind of low here. So just having that res bot out, eating up the gas bags, it's a nice thing to you know, supplement your economy with, especially when the wind is low like that. All right, so we got a fast concert out here. Now this is really because these mexes are so big. You start with 4 of them, so you know, you have some more metal at your disposal here. So having a fast concert is pretty common on this map. You just got to make sure you work up enough economy, enough energy to do so. You typically have the metal, but here you want to have like something like you know, 200 metal, or sorry, 200 energy income to do that. So I think Sashkorin's opener here a little bit stronger. You know, just having that res bot out a little bit sooner, especially since the wind was low earlier on. So just having that guy out, eating up some of that energy to be able to produce that concert a little bit more efficiently. But both players here with that finished, moving their commanders out, moving on to grab the other clusters of 4 mexes. And really this map is just about like grabbing these, you know, these 8 mexes, the 4 that you start with, and then the 4 out here, and then maybe grab, you know, the next 4 as soon as possible. And that just really boosts your economy forward rather quickly on this map. So we'll see if there's some early aggression, because that can also happen on this map because of the sorry, brain fart. Because the map's smaller, there can certainly be some aggression going on as well. But yeah, very important to add on those mexes ASAP, and even sending your commander out to do so, to make sure that it goes up in a reasonable amount of time, and then also laying down those defenses rather quickly as well. So you know, this portion of the map gets eaten up pretty quickly, and then the game becomes a game of controlling the high ground positions here with all that metal income that you already have. So we'll see how these players play it out. So far, just a couple of grunts coming in here, doing some minor damage. Do pick off a con, so you know, that's certainly a big deal that Sashkorin has lost that. Very good position for you know, LordVedor to be in at the moment. But assuming that he is expanding rapidly as well, it shouldn't be too bad. Actually, he's kind of ahead at this point in time. That might just have to do with the spawn position, actually. He took a more central location, able to send cons to various locations. All right, I should actually draw it on this side. So yeah, sending a con out to this location, sending his commander down to this one. Just being able to get there a lot quicker and build those mexes, you know. And meanwhile, you know, Sashkorin is elected to take this more you know, this lower position here that has a little bit more space for wind turbine production, and then just moving his commander up here and then over to expand, and then moving other cons out to grab the other mexes. So just, you know, it's a difference of play style. It's a little bit safer to open this way that Sashkorin has. But yeah, little bits of aggression, not a whole lot from these players so far. Not a lot of energy production. We do have a lot of metal banked up, and I think that just kind of goes to show you, you know, how much faster the metal income is on this map. we're already up to 2730 metal income for Sashkorin here. And then, yeah, 3032 for, actually 3040 for Sashkorin. I'm not sure if some of that's from Reclaim or not, but either way, you know, the metal income is quite high from these players, considering it's only 7 minutes into the game here. Yeah, do we have any transitions as of yet? Not yet. We do have a lot of solar from Sashkorin, so just spending a lot of metal, you know, on having energy income that is a little bit more, you know, it doesn't fluctuate so much. So, you know, I think, you know, Sashkorin doesn't need to rely on, you know, things like having energy storage or having the Geo. You know, LordVedor here, or Vedor, sorry, not Vader. This is not Star Wars. But yeah, going for that early Geo, having it up, you know, means you have that consistent energy coming in. So really nice play here from that player. And Sashkorin here just electing not to grab his. You know, he doesn't really want an explosive device in his base, so electing not to do that. But yeah, little bits of engagements here as we try to control these upper portions, these high ground positions. And yeah, it's kind of a lot of wrecks as well. So whoever gets a res bot out there and is able to defend these locations is going to be able to pick those up. But at the same time, you know, there's 2 of these locations, so you're trying to fight for both of them, and that can be kind of tricky. But yeah, this bottom one may be a little bit more important at the moment because there's so many wrecks down here. But yeah, you certainly want to control yours and try to deny your opponents from having that location. So we'll see how this plays out. But so far, it looks like Sashkorin doing a nice job, you know, taking this expansion rather quickly. He has his base pretty close to this region, which allows him to funnel units over there rather quickly, get some cons out there rather quickly to take it. You know, meanwhile, LordVedor has to send cons all the way up here. You know, it takes a little bit longer for him to get up there and start putting down defenses and whatnot. So Sashkorin just able to threaten that a little bit better as well because of his location. But yeah, somewhat of a stalemate here in the middle. We do have medium tanks being added on here, so it is a vehicle transition for Sashkorin. Meanwhile, LordVedor is only going for thugs, and so we get to see the difference here. And this is, you know, you could very much argue that this is more of a bot-favored map. So we'll see if the vehicles do well here or if the thugs prevail. Now, the thugs are a lot slower than the medium tanks, you know, but the medium tanks do slow down a lot trying to go uphill. So I think this might be a nice move for LordVedor, or I didn't again, I said Vader. LordVedor, because he's able to use these slow thugs in mass in one location down here. Meanwhile, you know, if he has plenty of units to defend up here and plenty of LLTs, and this area goes to him and this bottom area goes to Sashkorin, well, now these thugs can do things like this. They can move into this position and take this mechs out, and then from that position swing down here as well as threaten from this side. So there's 2, you know, in a way that's 2 fronts being opened up on that one location, and that makes it a lot harder for players to defend. But there are a lot of medium tanks out here as well, and then Sashkorin's also pressuring quite heavily at this top part. So you know, with Sashkorin already controlling, you know, that upper ground at the bottom location, and I think this puts a lot of hurts onto LordVedor here. We do see some Shuris coming out here, so there's an air transition, as you know, so he has air as well as the bots coming out. And with those Shuris, maybe he can do some damage here to these vehicles that don't do so well to these Shuris. But look at this position from Sashkorin, just setting up a line of tanks here against these thugs, and these thugs just a little bit too confined there in that position, forced to back out, forced to retreat. But meanwhile, he's attacking up here, maybe thinking that a lot more medium tanks are in that position, so maybe this is weakened. But so far, you know, kind of getting pushed back here. LordVedor also, I should mention, it does have a bank of metal sitting here. So actually both players sitting on a bank of metal. So, you know, it just kind of goes to show you again how much more income you get on this map. These players are just not used to it. But yeah, with 2 geos taken for LordVedor here, he's going to maybe be able to spend a little bit better once those are finished. You know, maybe desperately needs to add on a little bit more build power, but actually, now his spending is actually pretty good. The metal is draining pretty quickly here, so actually going to be feeling pretty good about that. So Sashkorin here has added on some air of his own, does have some air cons out here reclaiming some of this metal, turning it into more tanks and more things to, defend these locations, maybe be aggressive at the top. And yeah, I mean, I think as the more this game goes on and the longer that Sashkorin controls these 3 mexes here, the more the game kind of goes into Sashkorin's favor. LordVedor desperately needs to control that upper area for himself, and he just hasn't been able to do so far. We do see quite a few fighters here for LordVedor. We actually see a T2 transition into air from LordVedor, and this can be kind of dangerous. We do have a ground transition to T2 for Sashkorin into vehicles here, so vehicles can certainly be a strong thing to have here, especially when you think about like some of the ranged units that are here. Like if you position some of these Mausers and some of these Starlights in this upper position, it's going to be really, really difficult for anything to really get up there to attack because they're all slowed down by going uphill. So I think this is really well played by Sashkorin so far. LordVedor, again, trying to secure this location, ends up shutting down this constructor and even trying to reclaim it with his bot here, but looks like that vehicle's going to get out of there for now. So yeah, doing a T2 air transition instead of a ground transition can be kind of dangerous. It can be kind of dangerous because you're kind of like, sure, you kind of have those cheaper constructors, at least in terms of metal, they're cheaper. They're only 360 instead of like 470 or so for the constructors. And they can fly over stuff and just put down the blueprints for stuff rather quickly. So that's a nice thing to have. And then, having things like these wasps going around the map to deny some expansions and whatnot can be really nice to have as well. But I do kind of wonder if his ground force is up to the task of defending and securing this location. If you can't secure that location, Sashkorin is just going to be massively ahead. I also want to look at the converter account. We do have an advanced geo here for Sashkorin. Advanced geo is just now going up for LordVedor. And yeah, I mean, Sashkorin just kind of getting away with just having that bottom position longer. Just having a few units up here to threaten this location. Even has anti-air and a bull up there as T2. And so that's going to be really, really difficult for LordVedor to handle. He's got these slow thugs that he's just now repositioning to get that position, or to shoo these units away. But in a larger sense, I think it's a little too late, or too little too late. And he desperately needs to get some cons over there to secure all this metal. Like, this is a lot of metal he just doesn't have and hasn't had for a little bit of time now. So I think Sashkorin just doing an amazing job, keeping up with his economy, making sure that he has enough units out on the map to do stuff, and now even adding on those Mausers that I was talking about earlier. And with those, he's going to be able to shell all these light laser towers and get in there with those bulls a lot more efficiently. His commander is coming up here, maybe looking to degun the bulls, but at the same time, he shows up on radar. There is a profit here for Sashkorin, so that radar vehicle sees the commander, and the commander's taking some heavy damage from these bulls and gets taken out. I guess that's game. But yeah, looking at the big picture here, I really think the game really came down to the fact that LordVedor wasn't able to secure these mexes at this upper location, while Sashkorin was able to keep his. So I don't know, what can you do? Like, once this position is kept for Sashkorin, and if you don't have the opposite opposite stuff on your side, you just get further and further behind, and then what can you do? But yeah, then the air transitions, going into T2 air, like, yeah, you're kind of sacrificing some stuff to go T2 in the first place, but then you're also doing air, which means you don't really have a ground presence to really be able to threaten stuff like this. So, these Mausers just getting into position and taking out the commander, pretty straight, cut and dry kind of game where, just kind of a better play from Sashkorin, in my opinion. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my casting. Absolutely feel free, to give me some comments, some critique on what I could do better. I'm always looking to improve. So please and thank you. And, thanks for watching. I try to put out one of these videos every couple of days. So, if you guys enjoyed this cast, you know, feel free to subscribe, tell your friends, and stay tuned for some more. Anyways, this is Zeteo signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one.